Welcome to the Tutor You Sociology topic video on culture and identity. In this video we're going to look at the work of Pakulski and Waters on social class and identity. Social class has long been a key focus in sociology. Traditionally, class was seen as a system of stratification that divided society into different groups based on factors such as wealth, occupation and education. This class system has influenced people's life chances, opportunities and even their identity. However, over time, some sociologists have questioned whether social class is still as relevant as it used to be in shaping people's lives and identities. Among these sociologists are Jan Pakulski and Malcolm Waters, who argued that social class is losing its importance in contemporary society. Pakulski and Waters are known for their theory of postmodernism in relation to social class. They believe that in today's society, identity is no longer shaped primarily by class, but by individual choices, lifestyles and consumerism. In their groundbreaking work, The Death of Class, 1996, they argued that traditional class structures are becoming less relevant as other factors such as culture, consumption and lifestyle take on a greater role in shaping our identities. Pakulski and Waters take a postmodernist approach to social class and identity. Postmodernism is a sociological perspective that challenges many of the ideas associated with modern society, particularly the focus on grand narratives like class, and instead emphasises diversity, choice and individualism. From a postmodernist perspective, society is seen as more fragmented and complex than it was in the past. Instead of being organised around clear-cut social classes, people now have more freedom to create their own identities based upon personal choices and lifestyles. In this view, traditional markers of social class such as occupation, wealth and education are no longer the primary factors shaping who we are. Instead, factors like consumer choices, media and cultural preferences become more important in constructing an individual's identity. Pakulski and Waters argue that in postmodern societies, people are no longer bound by the constraints of class and are instead free to express their identity through consumption and lifestyle choices. They call this individualisation, meaning that individuals have more freedom to shape their own lives and identities rather than being restricted by their social background. One of the central ideas in Pakulski and Waters' work is the decline of social class as a meaningful way of understanding society. In the past, sociologists like Karl Marx and Max Weber argued that social class was the main force shaping people's lives. For Marx, society was divided into two main classes, the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. Weber, on the other hand, believed class was more complex and also considered status and power as important factors. Pakulski and Waters challenge this view, suggesting that the sharp divisions between classes are becoming less relevant in modern society. They argue that people's identities and social positions are no longer determined solely by their class background. Instead, people have more freedom to choose their lifestyles and define who they are, often through their consumption habits. For Pakulski and Waters, consumption, the way people spend their money and the goods they buy, is becoming a more important factor in shaping identity than class. In today's consumer society, people express their identities through the products they buy, the clothes they wear, and the activities they engage in. This is a major shift from earlier times, when identity was closely tied to class position and determined by an individual's job or income. According to Pakulski and Waters, lifestyles are now a key part of how individuals form their identities. A lifestyle is a set of choices that reflect a person's values, interests and way of life. For example, someone might choose a lifestyle centered around fitness and healthy eating, while someone else may identify with a more artistic or creative lifestyle. These choices are not necessarily linked to social class, but are influenced by personal preferences and consumer choices. Another important concept in Pakulski and Waters' work is individualisation. They argue that in postmodern society, people are no longer constrained by the class system or by traditional social roles. Instead, individuals have more autonomy to shape their own lives and create their own identities. This process of individualization means that people are more likely to see themselves as unique individuals rather than as members of a particular class. This shift towards individualization is a key feature of postmodern society. It reflects the idea that people now have more freedom to choose their own paths in life, whether that involves their career, relationships, or lifestyle choices. In the past, people's lives were often heavily influenced by their social class, but now they are more likely to be shaped by personal choices and consumer preferences. While Pakulski and Waters argue that social class is less important in shaping identity, they do acknowledge that certain forms of cultural capital can still play a role. Cultural capital refers to the non-economic resources such as education, taste, and social skills, which can give individuals advantages in society. Although economic class may be less important, cultural capital still influences the kind of lifestyles people can access and the social groups that they belong to. For example, someone who has access to higher education and has developed a taste for high culture, like art, theatre, and literature, may belong to a different social group than someone whose tastes and preferences are more focused on popular culture, like movies, music, and fashion. In this sense, cultural capital still contributes to social stratification, even though class is no longer the primary factor. Pakulski and Waters' work has a significant impact on how sociologists think about social class and identity in contemporary society. By suggesting that class is no longer the dominant force shaping people's lives, they challenge traditional sociological theories and offer a new way of understanding identity in a postmodern context. However, their ideas have been met with criticism. Some sociologists argue that social class is still highly relevant in today's society, especially when it comes to issues like wealth inequality, access to education, and social mobility. Critics suggest that Pakulski and Waters may be overstating the decline of class, pointing out that many people's opportunities in life are still heavily influenced by their social background. Additionally, some critics argue that Pakulski and Waters focus too much on consumption and lifestyle as the main drivers of identity, neglecting other important factors such as ethnicity and gender, which can also play a major role in shaping who we are. In summary, Pakulski and Waters' work challenges traditional sociological ideas about social class and identity. From a postmodern perspective, they argue that social class is becoming less important in shaping our identities, and that factors like consumption, lifestyle, and individualization are now more influential. In a postmodern society, people have more freedom to express their identities through personal choices and consumer behaviour, rather than being restricted by their class background. Although their work has sparked debate, it offers an important perspective on the changing nature of identity in contemporary society. That concludes this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on culture and identity, looking at the work of Pakulski and Waters on social class and identity. Thanks for watching.